Good morning, Arium. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? How are you doing? Thank you so much for joining us in the second episode of Council of Elders. And boy, do we have an exciting show for you all today. If you're listening on Spotify, thank you so much for tuning in. We're so happy for the enthusiasm you guys have all shown towards Spotify. Excited to be on there, honestly. Just hearing my voice in my ears when I'm driving is pretty weird, but it's also awesome at the same time. We've got so much to jump into. Nick, how are you doing, brother?
Doing phenomenal. Excited for show number 2. Got an awesome guests of honor coming on the show today. So yeah, I'm excited to dive in and chat some things. I feel like every 2 weeks we got a bunch of new things to talk about. So
right, and you guys just dropped a huge bomb on us yesterday, last night I think it was, and we're definitely jumping into that. But I just want to say, like, the fact you guys are just going so in depth into the economy of crypto rares, and you're just looking at all aspects of the game. For me, that just makes me even more bullish than ever before. Like, how do you guys go through those kind of thoughts? Just real quick.
Yeah.
Just those decisions. How do you make those decisions?
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, it depends on, like a multitude of things. Like if it's an obvious no-brainer decision, then it's really just about like, if everyone's like, yeah, that's a great idea, let's do it. It's a matter of just, figuring out when is the right time and whether we want to bump it up the priority list. But with like tougher decisions and like a lot of things with like economic decisions where there's a lot of potential routes and options we can go, it takes a lot more discussion. So usually it'll start in Discord, just sharing some ideas, trying to or pointing out obvious problems, and then we'll usually like hop on a call and like cash it out. So I mean, the recent economic changes that we made is because I've been talking about like a couple of problems that I've been seeing in our economy, and so wanted to hop on a call to talk about a solution. So we have a weekly call with Nat, Tyrael, Excalibur, and myself. And so we use that to talk through some of these economic decisions, and basically I wanted to fix it doing a certain thing, and Nat saw like a different set of problems and wanted to fix that like a different way, and we were kind of like at odds for like 20 or 30 minutes, but like everyone on our team is mature enough to like, if people are passionate about like a different side of the argument, it's probably because none of the solutions that we figured out yet is the right one. And what was awesome on this call on Wednesday is Nat literally came up with an idea that solved all of the problems that I was worried about. Also, we came up with an idea to help solve some of the problems he was worried about, and it all tied together beautifully. So yeah, we're in such a new space. There isn't a playbook or like a roadmap to look at, especially with the economic side. Like a lot of gameplay stuff. There's decades of game knowledge and history that we can look at and learn from. But with like blockchain economics and stuff like that, it's way more abstract and like theoretical. So it's like harder to walk through these things. But I just feel blessed that we have like such a good team that we're able to address, like figure out solutions to like serious problems that are complex and hard, and come up with like good answers. So
that's awesome, man. Nat, actually, I saw him, he posted in the Discord, I think, that you guys were going at it for a while, but the fact that you guys were able to come to a conclusion, which I think is a great solution for the economy, it's really exciting to see that you guys are able to work those things out, because there's going to be more down the road. We all know this. There's so many more developments coming in this game, and this isn't going to be the only stumbling block, right? So
totally.
Hey, we've got an amazing team of guests coming on for this show, guys. Malfurion, I think that's how you say his name. Bellay, who most of you all know, and MerrickMoon, the streamer, as most of you all know. Let's go ahead and bring them into the show and get into their questions and then the community's questions. All right. Let's go ahead and move over to that call.
Awesome.
All right. Sweet. Oops. There we go.
I hopped off Discord, so
you good.
Sweet.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I'm gonna go ahead and drop the music. So, Council of Elders is officially going to be named the Council of Doxing, because now we've got Bellay getting doxed here on camera.
Of course.
Malfurion was trying to get doxed, but his camera didn't want to work. But who's going to be next, ladies and gentlemen? Who's going to be next? The Council of Docs is stamped in approval. We've got Bellay, Gavin MD here, Malfurion's in the middle, MerrickMoon into the right. Do you guys just want to say a quick introduction? Like how many Raiders you guys have? How long have you been with Crypto Raiders? What do you do in the environment of Crypto Raiders? Just give the team, or not the team, but the community, a little introduction if you could.
Okay. Well, I will start. So you maybe some of you might know me as Bellay on the Discord. So we are I created the extension for Crypto Rider with a friend of mine called Storm, and for the rider amount, I'm around 147 now, and 0 scholar. Yes.
There you go.
I love the quest.
Malfurion, what's up, buddy?
What's happening, gang? Yeah, I just been involved mostly around the community, doing tournaments, hanging out in the Discord, watching the streams. I've got 6 raiders at the moment, all Gen 1, Gen 2. I started out with a lot more. But yeah, it's been a fun ride.
Awesome to have you, buddy. And Merrick, what's going on, dude?
Yeah, so before we start, I just want to say where the Tammy's at.
Yo,
where the Tammy's at, dude? Where the Tammy's at? Type in chat. We all Tammy.
That's good.
But yeah, for those of you that don't know, I stream Crypto Raiders and host tournaments here and there, and also do interviews. Well, I wanted to do another interview recently, but so many things have changed in the last week, and Langley and Nick, you were talking about it. I was just like, dude, I gotta rewrite these questions. But I have a few for this council
Awesome.
session, so it'll be cool to see.
That's great to hear. All
Let's
right,
go.
Let's get into it. There's no reason to delay any longer. We'll go from left to right on the screen here. So Bellay, let's jump into your question, my friend. What do you got for Nick? What do you got for us?
Oh, merde. So I thought I could come with question not mostly around the recent announcement, but around maybe some question about how Crypto might. Oh my God! Wow. Sorry guys, it's very late for me. Hard to compute French in English. Okay. I was wondering how we could maybe find some way to improve communications through third-party projects, because we know Crypto is very a young project, etc., and everything's doing great. There is a lot of update, a lot of activity and follow-up on the Discord, and for the moment there is mostly the extension that use the current content of the game as a feature to improve the game content, and I was wondering how we could improve the process of communication with the CR crew and the extension, because for the recent statistic, there is around 1,700 users for the extension, and sadly it became some kind of meme in our Discord. Every Wednesday is a fixed day. Because when there is a huge update, it completely dumped out the extension for at least several days. So I was wondering, maybe not for only for the extension, because maybe in the future there might be some other third-party project that want to be part of this adventure, and but how we could maybe create some channels or procedure to help the third-party developers to get into maybe the test phase for the game, or some kind of privilege to know how the game is going to evolve, and how we could adapt to not break or not project, but you see what I mean. Sorry, you're on mute, Kix.
Yeah, so great question. So first of all, huge fan of your project, and I know a lot of people in the community are huge fans of it as well. Honestly, I was talking to the team about like 2 weeks ago about just how much better it makes the game and how much more fun it makes the game, just in terms of the UI improvements and the data in the game. When you turn it off, it's very obvious how much you like it. The game kind of feels like naked without it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think there's like a couple of parts to your question. Like first of all, just from our side, we're never intentionally trying to make things harder for people that are building mods and add-ons like you are. I think part of what's just been happening is that we've been moving so fast and making so many changes and trying to tweak some things to make like the payload easier on Unity, that we're essentially changing things and then we ship them and then everything breaks on your end. So I definitely like your idea of having some sort of communication channel, so that
We can
you all can
anticipate.
you all can have a better idea of the direction we're going and what we're working on. I think that's a great idea. I've talked with your business partner, Stormer, multiple times, just trying to figure out like how to best support you and the other communities out there. So yeah, first part of the question, better communication. I think we can definitely make that happen, and I agree. Second part of the question, or rather like solution, is that like we need to really improve probably the API, where you can access more data without having to do it via methods that are going to get broken all the time, right?
Yeah.
And so that's definitely something I've been talking with the team, is like, how can we get more of the data just going through the API? Because then as long as the API is consistent, right? And if we make any changes that influence the API, we let people know, and we
Yeah,
also
we could adapt and really fast, because for the moment we kind of hack the game to gather the data we
exactly.
have. So
Yeah, so like we're never intentionally trying, like, because I basically what happened, I was trying to understand over the weekend or late last week, like what happened that broke the part of the app. And my understanding is that we like optimized some of our
Mhm.
payload back and forth in anticipation of making it easier for the Unity hook in that's happening right now.
Yeah.
And that kind of unintentionally, it didn't break the whole app, if I'm understanding. It just broke some of like the in-game statistics. I think particularly people really like it for endless dungeons, I think, and
Yeah,
that
because we
got
could
knocked out.
show a lot of stats and how the runes work, how the passive works, etc. And sadly, it's not possible anymore.
Yeah, so I think to answer like both parts of the question, I think we can definitely improve the communication channels and work with developers so that they have a better understanding of our roadmap and they can be prepared for changes. And then the latter half is that we need to improve our API so that we're able to like just make it easier for you all to interact with it. So you're not having to screen scrape data. You're not having to do all of this clunky stuff. You're able to just like pull the data that you need through an API.
Yeah, it should be the way to go. We know it takes time and it's a very early stage of the game, so
Yeah,
there is no problem. And we have no doubt that you are not trying to kill the extension.
for sure.
It will not make any sense.
No, it would make. I actually was like talking about the team. I'm like, how could we like integrate it by like defaults for players, and was trying to figure out how that would work with Unity and all sorts of things. So yeah, definitely big fan of the app, the extension. Want to keep it going, and thriving. And yeah, part of the communication or lack of communication definitely rests on me. I've just been the past 2 months have been a whirlwind for me, and we're hiring up and shoring up some different positions. Like we just hired a senior game designer last week, who's getting onboarded this week, and some basically things that are going to free me up to be able to like fix more fires, like the fire that's happening right now with developers.
Oh, that's very nice to hear.
All right,
Thank you for your answer.
Malfurion, your turn.
Yeah, thanks Langley. Thanks Nick. Yeah, that was a contested day when CRC went down in the tournament section. I got 3 questions. I'll take 3 turns to do it.
Cool.
I'm gonna do the good, the bad
bad
/
and the ugly.
critical, and the fun.
Oh, cool.
So
Let's
we'll
do it.
start with the good. And to
Awesome.
me, it's the community and the team. Like I've been in crypto for 5 years now. This is one of the coolest projects I've been involved in. From the community with my attorney fam, Nikolai, Zero, Kenna, all those guys, the streamers, everybody's like, it's a tight knit community. It feels that way. You really pick up that vibe in the Discord. And then the team, you guys do a great job. We were just talking about communication, and yeah, we can improve on that. But for the most part, I think you guys listen to feedback, soak it in. It goes into your decision making. I've seen it plenty of times, like just stuff happening in the Discord, and then like the next week you guys make an announcement with some kind of interpretation of that. So it's really cool that you guys are listening. So my question around that is, I'm hooked. I know a lot of there's probably I know 100 people are hooked on the game, but I know the goal that you mentioned, or the team mentioned a couple weeks ago, was we're trying to get this thing up to like 100,000 daily active users.
Yep.
And so my question would be, where are we now, and how do we get there? It kind of looks like I'm starting to see maybe in the tournaments a few newer people come in, but like how do we get newer people outside the game now in, and without spilling anything that you can't, but like what does that entail? Like, are we looking at mobile apps to try to bring outside users in, or that's my general question, is how are we going to get long term to 100K daily active users?
Yeah, fantastic question. So I mean, ever since the beginning, we've been kind of slow growing organically, and it's continued. Like we grow by 10 to 20% every month consistently. That's great, but multiply our current numbers by 10 and 20%, and it will take a couple of years or at least 2 years to get to 100,000 players. So it's definitely not at the pace that we want it to be. So of course we raised a big funding round. So a big part of that has been hiring up. And we also last week or the week before did modeling for financials for the rest of the year, and have budgeted a significant amount of funds to market and try to grow the game. And so we have a couple of different options and avenues for that. One thing that we're looking to implement soon is getting some bigger streamers and some bigger gaming influencers, incentivizing them to start talking more about our project, and growing via that route. But I think that there's two parts to the growth equation. So one is the crypto side of gamers, right? And then the second is like traditional gamers that don't know much about crypto, or as we know, a lot of gamers hate crypto. So one of the reasons why we've been looking at ways to improve the potential earnings in the game, the potential ORM rewards in the game, is that we think that we can grow 500 new users a month just like with the game as it is, but the game's getting more fun to play. But if we can make a game that is more fun to play on a short-term horizon, has good ORM rewards, right? That can be a great catalyst to get a lot of crypto growth, and potentially poach players from other games out there that we know about that have a lot of players. But that's only a part of the equation. The harder part is getting the traditional gamers in. So we've, and that's more of like a longer play. But the working idea is that would likely look, like you said, like a mobile app, and creating some sort of like free-to-play model where the free-to-play players are like net spenders, like they would be in normal free-to-play games, right? And then because of their spending activity, the crypto side players can earn substantially more as a result. And there's also all sorts of like interesting things, like for example, right, you only can create potions on chain, right? But if you were able to bridge them into the game and then sell them to Laz, and then Laz was able to sell them to free-to-play players, right? You can start to see this like really cool economic model where free-to-play players are interacting with the crypto players, and have that model all work out. But we're pretty close to getting the economic situation to where I think it's going to be like attractive for more crypto gamers. And then we're going to really hit the pedal to the metal in the next week or so, trying to grow our crypto gamer base. And then the long-term play is to, increase our, ability to like access traditional gamers. Now, like if you see games like Steppen right, has like, I think like 300,000 daily active users. Well, one of the differences between like us and them is, they have a much bigger total addressable market, of course, right? We're a little bit more of a niche thing. I mean, World of Warcraft is a massive game, right? But like the amount of people that run versus the amount of people that like RPGs, right? There's a different total addressable market there. But I think that shows that, if you look at that, you look at Axie Infinity, there's the potential to get hundreds of thousands of players just from crypto gaming. And so I think that should be our focus for the next like 6 months, is to really grow as much as possible with crypto gamers. And then like on a 1-year horizon, try to get like traditional gamers through like a free to play model. So what you should expect to see is you should expect us to see us ramping up our advertising efforts over the next week or two, and try to get a lot of crypto gamer growth. We also have big things on the horizon, like the Raider International tournament that I think will be a great marketing opportunity as well. But yeah, so short-term focus, we need to get more crypto gamers. And I think we can get tens of thousands, get up to at least 50,000 daily active players focusing on that market. And that market makes the most sense right now.
I like the plan. Yeah, it sounds good. And I think, like you said, the Raider Invitational, that's going to be something innovative, first of its kind. And then I know you guys have been kind of holding the marketing push back for until the Unity release. So
exactly. And like we're so close to getting that done. And then also the last piece that I wanted to get into the game is true PvP. It's actually player versus player. It's not player versus AI. And then being able to layer on some rewards to a matchmaking system. Because then I think we have like, if you look back 2 months ago, it's not a real RPG. You're fighting against AI and you're clicking one button. Right now we have abilities, right? We're about to get Unity. We're about to get true PvP, and we're about to get classes and class abilities. And I think that's a complete game. No, it's not like a fully polished game that's been built for 2 years, but that's like a complete feeling RPG game.
You forgot about the hotkeys.
You're grinding. Exactly. The hotkeys were sick. Tzazier did that. He just decided to do it. He's like, yeah, I put hotkeys in the game. I'm like, dude, this is so good.
My space bar is worn out, man.
Oh, I bet, dude. We'll ship you a new one. We'll ship you a Crypto Raiders.
Same.
That's funny. Did you ever?
Thanks,
did you answer? Do you know what the daily active users is?
Oh yeah, what are we at now?
So our amount of unique wallets is like above 5,500. I think it's like 5,600 or something like that. In February, I think we were at like 4,400. So like we're growing like 500 new players, 10% a week. Yeah. And that was all without rewards, right? So like now that we have the rewards in the place, and the interesting thing about our game is like a lot of other games, like you get the same amount of reward for like the activity you're doing. But with our game, we have these cool stories where someone like rolls an epic and they can sell it for $22, right? And I feel like that kind of marketing hype is pretty cool. So I think that like we're very close to being able to turn on the marketing engine and get a lot more crypto gamers. So it's like 5,600 unique wallets, but then if you include people that are like playing on other people's accounts, I think like we're like closer to like 8,000. I think maybe we peaked out at like 10,000. So it's good, but I mean, it
could be better.
That's not a $200 million business. 5,500 people.
Is that number wallets holding Raiders, or people actually like playing the like dungeon running?
Yeah, that's wallets holding Raiders, but we can see the unique IPs like pinging the servers, and it's high. It's higher than that. But like, Path of Exile started out as a very niche game. And if you listen about their origin story, like they were like, we need to get to 10,000 unique players to like break even. And then we can really start building a game. Right. And they got to 10,000 players, and then they like finally cracked the code like after a year of, development, and like really took it off. I mean, that's the thing, is I think like we're moving very quick, and we're close to getting to the good, like, marketing opportunity. I think like when you look at games like Axie, like I think most people don't even know that they like started in 2018. You know what I mean? Yeah. And they like really took off in 2021. I think we can do it much faster, but like, like some of it, will take a little bit of time, but I think we're really close to like having all the pieces in place where we can just hit the go button.
It's awesome.
Good stuff.
Merrick, you're up, buddy.
All right. So there's something you touched on there that makes me want to skip to the second question, but I'll go in order. So obviously, the community sees that you're constantly in Discord, constantly taking feedback and just absorbing feedback. But given that that's Discord and Twitter and it's like kind of messy, has the team thought about like making a forum, like CR forum, to where you could like upvote, more pressing feedback, or like the community deems it like pressing feedback, like whether it's regarding labs or abilities or dungeons or whatever it could be. Has the team like thought about something like that?
We really haven't talked about it much, but I honestly think that's a fantastic idea because, it's so hard for people to keep tabs on everything that's going on in Discord, especially if you're not tapped in 24/7. So I really, really like that idea. Like I literally spent so much time on the World of Warcraft forums,
Yeah.
especially on Tuesday when they were down for maintenance. I would just shit post on there all day. Actually, fun story. I had a sticky thread in the Rogue forum for like a new build that I created, and then like I stopped playing 6 months later, and I like spammed a link to like a super stupid business idea I was doing, and they permabanned me. And so I lost my sticky status. But I love the forum idea because it allows people to absorb information a lot easier and see like the trending topics a lot easier. And setting up a forum is very easy. So I think that's something that we could get going. I completely agree with that. I think
And
that's
for
great.
y'all, like it'll be good for the community, but even for you guys,
Totally.
like you, Nat, like I can't imagine you guys are like just 2 a.m. scrolling through these like messages. I mean, it's awesome that you guys do that, but I feel like it's very time consuming and very,
And it's a little
lot.
harder too to like see all of the opinions. Like if you have a thread, you can see all the opinions at once versus like in Discord, you're seeing all the opinions scattered across 3 days in like 100 conversations.
Yeah.
So that's great feedback. I think we can definitely make that happen.
Yeah, that's a great idea,
That's
Merrick.
awesome.
That is a great idea.
Awesome. Okay. Well, that's my one question until we go around again.
Bellay, what you got for us?
I mean, I talked about this subject a long time ago, but I'm a lot into guilds for the game, and we didn't have very much time to talk about that subject anymore since the last Q&A stream. So just wanted to know if you have any news about that, or if you want to just talk about what might be possible on that side.
Yeah, fantastic question. So I actually this week or late last week I talked to Core just to get an estimation of how much it would how much it would take to do a variety of things. One, increase the amount of people that can be in guilds. Two, allow guild members to change the gear on their characters. Three, allowing guild members to be able to use dungeon keys. Four, allowing guild members to sell to Laz with some sort of wallet split. And he said it's definitely like a medium level lift. It would take like a couple of weeks to implement. So we just have to like figure out the right time to slot it into the roadmap. But I think those are very pressing needs that would make the guild functionality significantly better. I think the hardest one out of all of them is the dungeon key part because of how it interacts with the wallets. But I think it's much easier to like potentially allow people to like switch the gear and other things. But it'd be like a 2 to 3 week move. So we have investors, that are literal guilds, you know what I mean? And they're nicely asking for the exact same, kind of functionality. So it's very important to me to get it out. So basically, like the two biggest things we're trying to do short term is true PvP with matchmaking and Unity. Unity is taking way longer than expected because basically the Unity team built the entire Unity build off of client side. And I don't know if y'all remember, but like in February, when they're like halfway through their build, we switched everything to server side. And we switched to server side for like many important reasons. The primary one being like that's the only way that you can ensure that there's no cheating going on in the game. But then we made this switch, and yeah, they have like we're basically having to gut all of the code. And
Yeah,
do all of
I'm
these.
a Unity developer too. I know what you're talking about.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. Like
Right.
literally, they built the game to go down like a 4-lane highway, and then we're telling them we need to go by boat. You know what I mean? And so, so basically, people on our team are diving in with the Unity team to speed up the recoding to make everything work for server side. And I think that's going to accelerate the process. And then true PvP matchmaking. Once we get those both out of the way, then like on the short list of stuff is like disenchanting, crafting, improving guilds, class abilities, and the whole class system. So like improving guilds is definitely on the short list for me, especially now that we have like LAS earnings in place. And I think that like there's just going to be a lot more demand for the guild functionality.
But it made me think this kind of short-term view for the guilds is more around like just a scholar guild for every big crypto player who want to manage
But you're
his huge
talking more
amount of
about like
FFT.
actually like true RPG guilds, right? You're talking
Yeah.
about like
So
the real guilds.
yeah, is it? I mean, to have a community around one theme, one objective. It might be in the far future, but more
Exactly.
a war-like guild.
And so you all would want like other features like, a chat system, although we could like, guilds could just talk through Discord. Maybe that's
But
a top priority.
it could be possible to customize this ecosystem of guild, but more into the crypto side. Like it could be more like an ecosystem, like a little
Yes.
company. You have a guild chest and a different role on the guild, and several people are only used to manage that kind of thing. You can have a budget for every riders in the team, every players. It could be very
Like
interesting, I
a
think.
guild bank that like people can pull things in and
Yeah.
out of. Yeah, no, that's a great question. So Mac Arthur on our team, he hit me up like a couple weeks ago and he's like, dude, I feel super strongly that like guilds should be on chain, meaning that you could create it so that guilds could have like governance protocols like built into them,
Yeah.
right? So like if you have a guild of 100 players, like
Guild can act as an entity in
they
the
can act
game.
as an entity. They can vote and be like, okay, we have 10,000 major health potions. Like we should sell half of them to the market and use that money to go make damage potions. And you could like actually have that. You could actually have that all be like on-chain governance. So yeah, Mac Arthur's like super bullish on that. I personally like really want guilds to, yeah, they can have, scholar features, but the scholar features can even be functional for just like normal guilds. But I also want guilds to be exactly like what you said, which is like just a true RPG guild. People coming together with a common goal to raid top end bosses, or they're a PvP guild, or they're a farming guild. You know what I mean? We really
Yeah.
want that to flourish.
Exactly.
But it's more like a long-term perspective. But
Well, yeah, and then also like Get Gilded said, chat is secondary to a guild being able to do something in the game together, even if not on the same screen. I completely agree with that, and I love that idea. We're also working like one of the things that I wanted to do is once we help the Unity team catch up and be able to launch that, is putting the Unity team on building an overworld experience where maybe it's like 20 to 40 players in a server at any given time. You have a bunch of servers. And then what's really cool is then like people can go in and they can show off their swag. They can chat with each other. Like I want to make it so that you can mount up and dismount in there. And then also one of the new senior game designers that we brought on, he did this whole like research and analysis on Diablo 2 and how trading made it like trading was actually a huge social aspect to the game, but everyone thought it was just like economical. And I just think it would be so cool if we can also get trading into the overworld as well. Because I think it would just be so cool. Like you got, Bellay haggling with MerrickMoon in a overworld, and you're just sitting there watching, and they're going back and forth, or people can, trash talk and duel each other.
Way better
Exactly.
than OpenSea.
Exactly.
Way better.
Come
like
kill me.
Yeah, and then there's all sorts of like interesting like social effects that are like created from that. You build relationships with people when you like trade with them and you talk with them, and I think that's like that kind of social aspect is really lacking in crypto gaming. And if we can get like a cool overworld functionality, even if it's just like 20 players to start, you know what I mean? It would be
Yeah,
That'd be awesome.
it will start to look like to a real MMO.
Yes, exactly.
It would
That's
be
the
really
goal.
really fun.
100%. I love talking about guilds and hearing anything about that. Like for me, when I played World of Warcraft, the only thing keeping me going in that game for 5 years was my guild. Like playing with my friends every single day. That like I made some great friends through that game. So I can't that like I'm so hyped for that. Malfurion, what you got for us, buddy?
Yeah, I just want to talk about that for a little bit. Like you said, the guilds are, especially any game. Like I've played a lot of mobile games, Summoner's War, Idle Heroes, and then I've played like obviously Warcraft, Starcraft, Diablo. But you get the first thing you hit is the PVE, which is it holds your attention for a while. It's fun, and then you get into the simple PvP.
Yep.
But then, like you said, the guilds is what lasts forever or for a long time, and what holds
and builds those social bonds that make you stay longer than the game is like super exciting and new.
It's so fun, and another point of it is I'm getting I see new people joining every day, and being one of the consistent tourney players, they're reaching out to me sometimes. I'm getting like direct messages on Discord saying, "Hey, how should I build this character? I see yours is pretty good. Like, what can I do?" And it would just be great if we had guilds, because then you could bring some of the new guys in and just train them up, teach them. And I think it's going to be great. So.
Yeah, I love that.
My second question, I guess the critical, is more around the tokenomics side. So maybe it's Nat would have the more answers, but I think you've got it too, Nick. I think Orem has done a pretty good job of holding value. In fact, I think it just got out of hand for a while.
It got a little crazy during that January GameFi pump when it went to like 50
Orem's
cents.
Probably right around where it should be, to be honest. I'm a little worried about Raider though. Like I said, I've been in crypto 5 years. I've been part of a lot of farming tokens and dumped a lot of them and held some. And with Raider, the only time I've ever sold was day one. For all you guys that bought Raider on day one, I sold the exact bottom, so you can thank me for that. I sold it like 25 cents, and then it just spiked from there.
Feels bad, man.
But yeah, I'm holding and accumulating, and it's still up from. A lot of people are seeing the price and being like, "Oh, it's down from $10." But us that were there at day one and saw it at 50 cents, even $1, you're still up over 100%. So. But I could understand the sentiment about people getting nervous about it, and wanting to see what you guys have planned for that short term and long term. One of the things I thought would be really cool, and you probably can't tell me, but you guys mentioned the ultimate goal of CRs to be kind of like the Blizzard of the blockchain, like a studio. This is just the first of many games, right? And what if Raider was like going to continue to be the studio token for all of these games?
Yeah, and that definitely is the plan. Like anything we build under Crypto Raiders, the business will all tie in to those tokens. So that's definitely the long-term plan. Maybe we launch a new kind of game and we don't use Orem for whatever reason. But Raider is always going to be the governance utility token across our eventual family of products. We, of course, have a lot of time to do that. But I'm really glad that you brought this question up, because I did want to address this. And this was one of the many pieces of the economic issues that I've been seeing in our game and things that I wanted to address. So the first thing is that while I still think that we were right, that if you can get a crypto game down to a $50 entry fee, you're going to long-term be able to attract a ton of new players that just don't want to drop, $3,000 on an NFT to play a game, right? But what we didn't fully appreciate was the gravity effect that would create, that would drag down all the previous generations. And without intending to do it, what we did is we made it easier for new players and punished existing players. And so that was part of the big back and forth that Nat and I were having on the call. Was I was like, The reason why the floor is where it is because that's where recruitment is. And as long as there's open recruitment, the floor will get pegged to that price. And then that is going to be the base price that everything else is priced off of. So originally I was saying like we need to take recruitment up to like $125 or $150. Get recruitment to like 0.3, 0.5. People will buy through all of the cheaper raters, and then that's the new floor. But then you're just kind of going in the opposite direction. Now you're making it harder for new players to support older players. So that's when, after 20 minutes of arguing back and forth, like Nat came up with this genius idea. Well, what if we just improve the rewards for the older generations, and then we don't have to increase the price for new players to come in, but we can improve everything for our existing players, our existing community that has bet on us and held their assets and have played for 6 months. We can, through this model, like help them out. That was a big problem. That's what I was saying. I'm seeing all of these people that have been in the community for so long, and like they're sitting on raters that are like down 50%. Yep. And like we just can't have that, because like they're just going to be like, they helped us build this game and I don't want them to be upset. So we implemented that economic change, which I think is fantastic. You already see that it has improved the prices for previous generations. And that was our goal, is like, let's make sure that the existing players don't feel neglected and feel like we care about them, which we do, and want to take care of them. And so now I can set my eyes on the other problems on the economic side, which is the token side of the business. So one thing that I don't think, like, I'm sure some people in the community are aware of, but like some people may not fully appreciate, is that with our current tokenomics model, we are rewarding liquidity providers with 10% of our entire token supply every year, right? So if you just do the math, right, over the next year, 10 million Raider tokens will be given to liquidity providers. At the current prices, that's $25 million. So mathematically, we would need $25 million of new money to come in and buy those tokens just for the price to be where it is a year from now, right? And bootstrapping the liquidity was super important early in the game, so that, you know, if you wanted to buy Raider, there was someone to buy it from. And if you wanted to buy Orem, there was someone to buy it from. But now we're at a stage where we're much more established at a game. Like, that is a huge negative thing, because a lot of people in the community ask, they're like, I don't see any whales selling, so why price keep going down? Well, it's because there's DeFi farmers sitting on 100% APRs and are just dumping, right? And so that's a big problem. That's part of the reason why we switched to this bonding program, so that we can get more of our own liquidity, so that we don't have to give out as many rewards. But like, even MacArthur on our team kind of like jokingly said, he's like, yeah, I've been in the Orem USDC pool for like 6 months now, and your rewards are quite generous. He kind of said, sarcastically funny. So I think that's a big problem. And here's the thing, is that like a lot of people would probably still happily sit in the liquidity pools for 30% APR or 40% APR, right? But like 100% is really high, especially since we were like not a new project that has super insane risk. We've been around for a while. We're a legitimate project, right? Like we don't need these crazy APR levels to keep people in the liquidity pool. So that's an economic problem that's like next on the agenda to solve. Because if you just imagine, if we got rid of the liquidity rewards immediately, like right now, right, or like nerf them immediately, you would definitely see some DeFi farmers leave, and that would be like short-term, maybe negative on the price. But then you're going to eliminate pretty much all of the sellers, and then new players and new people coming in you would start to see positive buying pressure. So that's one part of the problem. The other part of the problem is like improving the Raider staking side, and they can almost kind of solve the problems for each other. We're like looking at a potential like V2 form of staking, where it'd be like liquid staking, and you get rewarded the longer that you like hold your tokens. We're working on some logistics for that. But the short answer is that a big part of the problem is the amount of emissions that we are giving out. And we also provide our own liquidity and don't stake it. So people are getting even higher emissions than they should, because we have like $2 million of our own liquidity in the game right now. So that is something that we need to fix. But then also we have to increase the utility narrative for Raider. Like, why would actual players want to buy it, right? And that's why we're doing this Raider Battle Pass, where you can take your amount of runs from 1 to 3, then you have to buy X amount of Raider to activate that 3-month-long battle pass on your character. And then we're pulling that Raider, out of the ecosystem. And I think that that's going to be the start of many initiatives to give more utility Raider, where we can actually have, more it being more in demand because it has actual use. So it's like a 2-part problem there. One is like reducing the amount of rewards, accelerating the bonding program so that we can eventually get rid of the rewards. Because if you think about this, we're not changing the amount that the team and investors and we're not changing the team allocation, right? So the community allocation is like, I think it's like 60 or 65%, right? So every percent of tokens that we give to the LP providers, those are tokens we can't give to the community in one way, shape, or form.
Right.
Whether it's PvP matchmaking rewards, or whether it's if you take down this ultra hard raid boss, like your guild earns Raider, right? Like we're just giving it to people that are just wanting to dump it on the market and increase supply. Because when did our tokens launch? In September? I should know this off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But okay, so September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April. I'm counting on my hands. That's 8 months. 8 million new tokens have been emitted out on the market, right? That is just a ton of supply. And that's like a big part of the reason why we're having price issues. So we need to fix that. And then we need to create more utility for Raider, which is the whole purpose of it. And that's going to add more demand for it. So that the first part of the economic problem was I need to make sure we don't have a riot on our hands, because everybody that believed in our product, their floor prices are in the gutter. So we fixed that problem through a very elegant solution that I think is a win-win. Yep. Now my sights are on the economy side and figuring out how to fix that.
Yeah, because without permadeath, we still don't have it. Like you said, I had characters that could clear the latest dungeon on heroic, but nobody's buying them because they just want to buy the cheapest floor price. And
now there's a real incentive.
Yep. And I think I agree with you. We're at the point where, to be honest, I've been farming Orm USDC pretty hard, but I haven't been selling. But I would not mind at all at this point. Like if we start giving that more to the people playing the game, and that,
or just not giving it out at all in the short term, right? And just reducing some of the sell pressure on it. And we don't even have to completely get rid of the rewards. We can just normalize them to a level that is like not. Literally, just think about it: $25 million in the next year of Raider has to be bought to keep the prices where they're at, right? That's not an easy. Yeah, we get Axie Infinity level growth. Sure, that'll work out, but like you shouldn't build your business off of that. So we 110% need to fix that. Part of the thing that we're thinking is we can just get rid of the Matic pools, move part of that Raider rewards to the ETH and USDC pools, concentrate the liquidity, right? And then accelerate the bonding program and pull back some of the rewards. So I still have to talk to Nat and the team and like figure that all out, but I think that's like the solution. Consolidate the liquidity, accelerate the bonding program, decrease the amount of rewards. And I think that will be like a great short-term solution.
Cool.
Love it. MerrickMoon?
Am I up?
You're up,
okay.
My friend.
Yeah, so you've been very adamant and passionate about like CR getting to the point where you can do those WoW style like raids and dungeons where there's like 5-mans, 10-mans, and all things like that. Given that, that'll really change the way the game is now, kind of, if you think about it. Like, how do you guys envision that? Will that be done with the current design and format of the game, or is there a phase planned where we'll see a complete overhaul of how we experience CR?
Yeah, great question, right? Because we've actually already coded the server side, and I'm sure Bellay is very aware of this, so that we can have multiplayer combat. We're not going to have to rebuild the whole system in order to facilitate multiplayer combat. The real question is do we want Final Fantasy style combat or Pokemon style combat, or do we want to go to a tile based combat system? The cool thing about a tile based combat system is you can add so much more like interesting complexity to the fights. Like, for example, if you're fighting a dragon, right? And like randomly the dragon will do like a cone attack, right? Like a cone attack, like you can really only do on like a tile sided thing. And then like, your tank needs to move the, aggro in a certain direction, yada, yada, yada. One of the challenges potentially with like movement based systems is that if they're not done right, they can be really clunky and boring and slow down combat. One game that I've been looking at it's called Tactical Monsters Arena. It's on mobile. I would suggest everyone play, but they have a really clean timer based like tile movement PvP game that I think is like really fun. So we have to figure out like which direction that we want to go. I lean to thinking that if you can make the movement fun and not annoying and clunky, then it adds a lot more strategic complexity to the game. But I do know that like a lot of people do prefer like Pokemon style or Final Fantasy style combat. I think that short term we probably do Pokemon style or Final Fantasy style combat because we can very easily turn that into multiplayer. Yeah. And the tile based stuff we would want to do right, it would take more time. So I think short term. So we're gonna get true PvP matchmaking in, right? We have a couple other things on the agenda, and then I would love to like start working on like a 3 or 5 man PvE dungeon.
So sorry, just to tie that, because this part's very interesting for I think everyone to know where you're heading, even in like a 1, 2, or 3, or like what would like, how can I say this? I guess like WoW 2005, where everything is kind of like established, or like BC or like Burning Crusade. Like basically, This is what WoW is. This is what WoW offers. Like how would that look? And I know you talked about, or the team talked about, like going to mobile and being on the App Store or Google Play or anything like that. That'll, like, all of these decisions really affect the game, right? Like, are you picking this for like PC and then mobile compatible, or it's going to be a mobile type game that's also PC compatible? And like that whole overworld aspect of like, how will it look? Will people be chilling and like Portwin? I don't know if we've voted like confirmed, but I like Portwin anyway. If we decided on Portwin, and then are we going to go into the instance? Like, are we going to go to Hogger? Are we going to go to Children's Cries? Is that how it's going to work out? Like, for me, it's more that visual like overhaul. Is that happening, or is it really going to go for Final Fantasy turn-based even towards the end, like the final finished product?
Yeah, so final finished product, like I don't have like a for sure answer, but like I do know for sure, like we're gonna have like your import when hanging out. You can go over and you can talk to Laz, or you can go over to the potion merchant, or you can go over to your bank. Like very, very much like RuneScape or World of Warcraft. Like that's how we envision it. And then you probably go into instances to do the different, different battles. But like, potentially if you want to go fishing, right? Like you actually have to like travel to the fishing zone on the map. So that is the game plan. And the thing is that we could still make that work on mobile, because we're not trying to be like World of Warcraft style graphics. So like mobile phones can handle that kind of like connection capacity, because like the lift, like the graphical like pressure that it's going to put on their phone like isn't super high. I'm a PC gamer. I don't want to get carpal tunnel syndrome, so I don't play mobile games too often. Like my hands get all jacked up when I try it. But like but I mean, you can't deny the amount of growth potential that is on mobile. But like last week I was downloading all of these mobile RPG games just to like see where they're at, and they're all the same fucking thing, dude. Like you just run down left to right and you just whack people, and it's just like it's not like, I'm surprised there isn't like more of like a World of Warcraft or RuneScape style mobile game, because it would be so good. I just think a lot of mobile game studios, like one person innovates and then everyone else copies, and you just get like 100 versions of like the same style of game. So I would love for us to be like the first one to bring like a World of Warcraft kind of vibe. And we wouldn't be the first. I mean, Albion Online is mobile optimized. Like Albion Online is very much like a World of Warcraft style game, and it works perfectly fine on mobile. So, cool. Yeah. And I think you can still attract casual gamers just by having like simple things that they can do, but you can still have that more complex layer on top.
Bro, interrupt you real quick. Helvey just dropped a $20 sub bomb on us.
Damn, dude. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Damn, Helvy.
Tank.
Helvy
Helvy's the
showing
man.
us who the whale is here. Love you, Helv. All right, you guys have 3 questions left, and then I've got a few community questions we're gonna ask, and then we'll wrap it up.
Awesome.
Bellay, what you got?
Okay. Just one quick question. A long time ago, you talked. There were on the blog. There were a post talking about some budget for third-party products.
Yep.
Do you have any news about that?
Yeah, that got pushed back just because the amount of fires we're trying to put out and all of the other things that we're trying to do. But we still very much want to make that happen. So like the original idea was to have like and here's the thing, Bella, you'll be the first one to know that like we don't have like the API or SDK capabilities to really make it easy for third-party developers. But like the whole like long-term vision for me, specifically with like that kind of stuff, is that every single cool game mode that has come out over the last 20 years started as a mod, right? Everyone in first-person shooters, or at least a lot of people, they play battle royales. Not very many people know battle royale started as an Arma 2 mod in like 2015. They literally started the genre, right? And
It's
then
like
DayZ
League of
came
Legends and
out.
MOBA from Warcraft 3.
Exactly. But the thing is that these mod creators, they create literally multi-billion-dollar industries and they get $0 from it, right? And the blockchain has the perfect ability to solve it, right? Because we have tokenomics and we could literally make it so that like if someone creates a mod and it's super popular, the creators of the mod can actually get rewarded for their game use. And this is what I think is going to be the most game-breaking or like groundbreaking opportunity in blockchain gaming, is facilitating people to create the next Dota, to create the next battle royale, but the mods are actually getting rewarded for the work that they put in. And because of that, you create this like insane flywheel. But that like to get to that level, to really support that, that's like probably like a year from now. But to answer your question in the short term, like the original idea was to have like almost like a Shark Tank kind of thing, and people could come on and like pitch ideas for like different mini games and stuff like that. And then the community, and then the community would decide like which ones to fund. I think we need to get our economy in a better state before everyone's like, yeah, let's throw a Raider out to like all these people left and right. But I do think in like the short term, we can do something to just show our support to mods and like help the mods out. Like, I mean, it's crazy, Bellay, to think about that. Like 30% of like unique wallets use Companion, right? That's like absolutely massive. 30%, 1 out of 3 people, right? And I think you guys, you won one of the grants that we did way back in the day.
Yeah, the first one, yes.
The 10K or 5K or whatever. Yeah, so I think we could potentially
and we were up like for 2 weeks, only 2 weeks. We were up for 2 weeks, and
now look at you now. Now look at you now. So I think we could probably do something like that potentially in the short term, like and we could maybe do it with the governance vote system, so it can't get like Discord hacked. Or like you can't manipulate the vote as easily, but like doing something else like that, and maybe like a mini version of like the Shark Tank thing. But my problem is I have like a million ideas and I can't keep my mouth shut. And then I realize that we have a limited amount of things we can work on. But I definitely think that we can get something in the short term that would be cool. Either like another grant program just to support some of the developers, or like try to do like a mini version of like the Shark Tank thing. But it would just suck if someone had like a great idea and then they're like, okay, I want to build it. And we're just like, good luck, man. Here's our API. And that's
ciao.
Yeah, exactly. And that's not nearly enough.
Okay.
I love that question, Bellay. That's a great question.
I take it.
All right, Malfurion. Am I saying your name right? Malfurion.
What's that?
Am I saying your name right? Malfurion, right?
From WoW.
Yeah,
Malfurion.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, from WoW.
Making sure.
And then I never
that regrowth in those cyclones.
see. I was never a big World of Warcraft player, but I was a huge Hearthstone player. And
Okay.
that's where I got Malfurion from.
There you go.
Dude, I love
Cool.
Malfurion as a healer in Heroes of the
Huts?
Storm. I
Yeah.
played the shit out of Heroes of the Storm, dude. I was who's the dude with the fucking hammer? How am I blanking out his name? And he throws the
Brawl?
hammer. No, he
Uther,
has the
Uther.
jump. Muradin.
Oh, Muradin.
Yeah.
Huge Muradin player, dude.
I liked the White Man. White Man was cool.
White Man's dirty, dude. Very kind of like a Vala. You know what I mean? Like
So-
super
Yeah, yeah,
bursty,
yeah.
but like super glass cannon.
Heroes of the
Yeah.
Storm community game night is what I'm hearing.
Oh, dude, Tyrael
I'm
and
down.
I clocked a ton of hours in that.
Let's
Tyrael
go.
plays Thrall and Falstad, dude.
I'm with
And
it.
he either goes on Thrall. He either goes like 18-4 or like 4-18. It's like never anything in between.
He's not consistent. It happens.
He
I
either
just love
snowballs.
Malfurion's nature will rise against you.
Yes.
All right, sorry.
Yeah, just to close up on a couple, Bellay. Yeah, thanks for CRC, man. I didn't even know it existed until like 2 weeks ago, and then when it broke, I was
Oh,
like,
really?
no! It's just kicking and screaming, and I'm
Yeah.
Merrick for bringing up the guilds. I'm so excited. I just actually thought of another idea, like this battle pass we're doing. When you implement these big 5v1 bosses or 10v1 guild bosses, you could put that on the battle pass as like, that boss is only open for like 24
Yes.
to 48 hours.
Yes.
And you need a battle pass to get
Yes.
access to it. That'd be pretty cool. All right, so I got a fun one. Let's do a lightning round. I'm gonna ask you 5 questions, Nick.
Let's do it.
You can do them quick or just expand on them.
Love it.
Yeah. All right. Bitcoin or ETH?
ETH.
For sure. Favorite food?
Ooh, Philly cheesesteaks.
Sweet. Are you beaches or mountains?
Great question. I live by the beach, but man, I love the mountains. Mountains.
Yeah.
Because you can snowboard on them too.
I do both. Yeah, I scuba dive and snowboard. So
There
that's
you go, man. Up and down.
favorite music genre?
I really like funny enough, I really like rap, but my I don't know if that's funny enough.
Like old
but,
school rap, like Tupac? Or?
Oh yeah, dude, or like Lil Flip, like this is the way we ball, like 90s stuff. But my wife like absolutely loves country. And like when we first started dating, it's like all she played in the car, and I just absolutely hated it. But like now over the years, it's like kind
Dude,
of
country's good, man. What's
grown
this
on
rap? Like, why do people hate on country?
Merrick,
dude?
I used to like
You know what
it.
I miss? I
It's
miss
grown
old
on.
school R&B. Like
Oh.
I don't think R&B is as good as it used to be.
It's the blues,
That's-
man. That's
that's-
where it comes from.
You like a little Wyclef Jean?
Yeah.
He doesn't know who that is.
I know
asked
Wyclef
him
is.
Malfurion because you
No,
said
yeah,
you like
Wyclef,
old school
for
R&B.
sure,
Yeah,
yeah.
Wyclef Jean, man.
Yeah.
I only
Yeah.
need one kiss of Mrs. Marika.
All right.
I've been
Our
into
viewership
reggae
just
lately.
went down to 5.
Oh god.
I've been going Rastafarian lately.
Oh, dude, yeah, 420, man, blaze it up.
And then last one, what's your bucket list travel spot, man, that you haven't been to yet?
That's a great question. I really want to go to Southeast Asia, like Vietnam or something like that. But I also want to go back to the motherland. I'm 50% German. I've never been to Germany. I want to go to Oktoberfest.
Nice.
Cool.
I'm trying to do that this year. So,
Oh, danke.
Love
cool,
it.
man. Well, we got to know a little bit more about
Yeah,
you.
dude, I love that.
That was
fun.
good.
I appreciate
Yeah.
you being on and answering questions, man. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, dude.
That's awesome.
We really care about this game. I mean, here's the thing. I made if I just cared about money, I would just be NFT trading like I did last year, and I would just be up so stupid. But there's no fulfillment in that. And I've played games my whole life, and this is like such an amazing opportunity that the community has given me and the rest of the team to like try to build a great video game. And so for me, it's like I care so much every day to try to make this great, not, for the community, for the team, for everyone, that like, I really just appreciate like all of y'all's support through like up and down, through thick and thin. It's like really appreciate it. I just want you all to know that like, we're gonna make this the best or die trying. Like there's no in between. We're not like this project that's like, oh, we tried it for 6 months, we're gonna take the treasury and buy some Lambos and thanks everyone, like good try. Like, you know what I mean? Like we're taking that treasury from $10 million to $0, or it's gonna go to $100 million because we made a great game. Like one or the other, but we're not
Let's
gonna give
go.
up.
That's what's up.
That is hype. All right, Merrick.
Hearts in chat, guys. All right. So this question is basically, so anybody that's ever watched my stream or hear me talk, I probably can't, like every other sentence is about WoW. And I think one of the reasons well I got brought in is because of WoW, brought into crypto raiders. And I guess my question is, a big part of WoW or just MMOs in general, and you mentioned this regarding trading being a social fabric.
Yeah.
How complicated is this going to be? Because materials and professions and crafting and all that kind of go back to DeFi, and kind of get out of the game. Like when we talk about, potions and anything like that. Even the auction house, and I still don't know. I mean, I did that interview with Nat, and he kind of leaked that the code is pretty much done. I don't know if you guys decided on in-game or in-game or out of game, but like, what are the obstacles with that? Is like, are you getting a more well-rounded idea of like how to do it where it'll feel like an MMO? Like, I don't know if you played New World or what WoW's doing with 10.0, where they have like trading orders now, or like profession work orders.
That's
like,
cool.
Yeah, so like the WoW's finally doing it. Like they stole a good idea. So basically, like if you're a blacksmith, and you have whatever, you list it up, and then people that need it that don't go through leveling that professions, could benefit. Like basically, it creates that economy, creates that social fabric. But given that this is crypto, that kind of makes it hard, right? Because you're kind of going out of the game and you're just basically just swapping.
Yeah.
So
I've done a ton of thinking on this, and I've talked to a lot of different people, and some people that I very much respect. Like one of the guys, he was a major influence in us getting the investment deal closed, and he personally owns, I'm not even joking, millions of dollars of the Raider token, and like deeply cares about the game. And I was on a call with him, and he's like, dude, don't fucking build the auction house on chain, dude. He's like, that's the worst idea ever. Cause you're literally just going to make it so hard to use. And like, you're like completely removing it from the game, which is like, you want to get an item and you want to go list it on the auction house, or you want to get an item, you want to go in the overworld and trade it. You don't want to open up your MetaMask wallet, bridge it out of the game, go to an auction house, approve the transaction, buy something, bridge it back into the game, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like the whole like thing is that like a lot of people in crypto want things on chain because it's like, it's part of crypto, right? And like I completely get that, and I was like super bullish on that at first, but like the more that like I think about it, the more I'm just like, it's probably got to be in game. Like even though that we've spent the money and the time to build on the auction house, and we can do a little bit of both, and the auction house or the on-chain marketplace still has a lot of utility because we have all of these NFTs. We have raiders, mounts, mobs, etc. Getting all of that on our own marketplace makes a lot of sense because then we can take the OpenSea fees that we're normally paying and we can burn that off. Like we can burn that ORM off and create a positive benefit for like the economy. But like, if you just look at the game and try to make the game as best as possible, it just makes complete sense to like have it in the game. And you're 100% right that like all of the farming stuff, it's like out of the game. And so that is awkward in and of itself as well. The reason why we did the economic stuff on chain is because we have very talented Solidity devs, and we have a shortage of like what we can do in game, right? So if we wanted to do all of this economic stuff in game right away, then it would be at the sacrifice of doing all these other things. It'd be at the sacrifice of abilities, matchmaking, improving guilds, all this other stuff. So like my idea was like, okay, we can build a great game, and then at the same time we can bootstrap an awesome economy on chain. And we've kind of like hinted at this, but like maybe eventually you can do it in game and out of game. Or we have certain things that you can do in game, like fishing has to be in game. You know what I mean? Like fishing has to be in game, right? But like maybe certain things can still stay on chain, like potion farming and stuff like that. And there's still solutions to make it so like if you have trading, that people can just trade for potions. Like Atrix has said, he's like, I would use potions, but I don't want to deal with all the on-chain crap. So if there was a potion merchant in game that bought from the on-chain liquidity pools and then marked it up by 10%, and you could just go to a potion merchant in game, right? That's like a great solution. Or if people can trade, then like the people who do the work on chain, bring it into the game, they can charge like whatever they want for it. But yeah, man, I'm completely with you. Like that's the challenge that like we have to like, figure out. So like, Yeah, and so what I was thinking is because like I think that like getting trading could potentially be easier than building an in-game marketplace. So like if we could get the overworld live and then like allow people to trade in game, then that could be like really exciting and it would create like a lot of social activity and then like eventually get an auction house. But I think we can still. And then there's this whole like argument of like, oh, well, like the NFT should have interoperability between other games, and that's why they should be on-chain NFTs. Like we could still like build a bridge to do that if people want to do it. And there's still a real use case for the marketplace because you can buy all of the NFTs on there. There's still going to be huge demand for that. But like also when you think about like if a NFT is worth an item is worth 10 cents, like what is the cost to bridge it out, list it, transfer it, send it back into game? Like it's just going to be a death by 1,000 cuts on the economic liquidity versus if it all stays in game, there's none of that jazz. And then just from a player standpoint, it's way better. I'm probably going to get a lot of DMs from the team being like, what the fuck are you talking about on this thing right now? But like it's been something that I've been thinking for like a month and I'm just
let it go.
My gut says that it's got to be in game. That's the best way to build it for the game.
Yeah.
Maybe a DAO vote. Maybe a DAO vote.
Yeah, maybe a DAO vote. Let's put it up.
Yeah.
All right.
Forum win.
Yes, forum win. Put it on the forum. Yeah.
All right, cool.
All right, so
Thanks,
we're gonna.
dude.
I just have one out of the box question, completely random.
go
Kinan
ahead.
asked me to ask you if you minted some voxels.
I minted the voxels. Ask him if it's still going. I totally forgot to do that today. Is he pissed? Because I think I said I was super bullish on voxels. He's probably in an active rug right now. Let me look at the floor price.
Let me. He said. Oh man, I'm so tired.
Tell him I'll buy one of them off of him so that he loses lots of money if they don't work out.
He said if you don't buy them, he's going to steal your moonbeard.
Okay, yeah. Good luck, buddy, because I have that in a Fort Knox gold mine because that thing's going to 100 ETH. But I'll ping him about the voxels because he hit me up. That's funny.
All right. We're going to move in to community questions that I've pulled from chat and then wrap this up. Do you have any information regarding the next step for permadeath? I keep seeing it, talked about in the Discord, people posting in chat about it. What's the next step for permadeath?
Yeah, so we got to get Unity. We got to get true PvP. And then that's something that's like on the short list that we can discuss. So there's two parts of that. One is figuring out exactly how to do permadeath. So there's hardcore permadeath where you completely lose the NFT.
Mm-hmm.
There's like middle of the ground permadeath where your character gets reset to just level 1 and it's completely naked. I kind of prefer that from like a NFT movement standpoint because we can do that all via the database.
Yeah.
And then there's like soft forms of permadeath where you just like lose some items. But I want to come up with like a really cool mechanic for it because I want it to be like a cool mechanic.
Yeah.
We can just make a dungeon permadeath, and if you die, you get reset to level 1 and all your gear's wiped. Like that's not like functionally like really hard to do. And we could, but like I want to integrate permadeath in like a way that is a very fun mechanic on top of it, not just us copy pasting a PvE dungeon and like making permadeath work in there. But it's definitely something very high on the mind. We tested permadeath tournaments. I think that was a really fun experiment. It's not super scalable. But yeah, we got to figure in bingo bango, like, because my like issue with like permadeath was that like the only way that you can get someone to do permadeath is if it's like ROI positive. So then you have to like inflate the rewards to like offset the risk. But then like bingo bango was kind of like, well, if you just make it fun, like if it's actually like really fun and maybe if it's even just like break even, like people would still do it just to have fun. So have to figure out the mechanics first. But if anyone in the community wants to come up with a real bomb idea and send it my way to do permadeath in a fun way, I would love to hear it.
Yeah, no, that's
but
great.
It's still on the radar.
Yep, 100%. What are the syncs? Any syncs you can talk about for the near future for Aurum?
Yeah, that's a big thing that we're working on because as we increase rewards, like, you know, we need to have more syncs in the game, but also like sinks, when you call it sinks, it kind of just sounds like a gimmick almost. Like we just need more ways to spend Orem in the game, right?
Yeah.
And I had a great call with GuildFi today, and they had some awesome ideas for different things that we can do. So one is spend Orem to re-roll an item stats, but every time you re-roll it, it gets more expensive to re-roll again. Because like a lot of people get like a really cool item, but like the stats are not perfect for their build, or they're just like a little on the weak end. So that, I think that is an interesting thing. I'd be interested to see how the community reacts to that. I'm sure we'll get positive and negative on that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think that's a real functional sync where it's like, oh, okay, you get this legendary weapon, but like you bottom rolled the stats. Well, maybe you can pay 10% of what Laz would charge for that item.
Yeah.
And that's like that's the re-roll. And then like every time you re-roll, the price like doubles or goes up 50% or something like that. So that someone can't just sit there and spam re-roll till they have like a top roll. Like there's a real cost to doing it.
Yeah.
Potentially we could sell custom dual backgrounds, custom emotes for raiders, cosmetic gear, and like skin upgrades is a very big one. We're working on some ideas to do that stuff, but it would be integrated into the game, so you'd only be able to find these opportunities in the game. I think that is a strong one as well. And then we're also going to have an Orem marketplace where people can buy tools and buildings and functional things that they need in the economy with Orem. So we have lots of ideas on the table in terms of like adding more syncs, but like the easiest one that I think would have like impact right away would allow people to potentially re-roll an item stat with Orem. I think that could be, that's like my number one. Yeah, and then like my number two is probably like cosmetic gear, especially if we can get the overworld into place. A sick ass outfit or an aura, yada yada yada.
Yeah. Probably not till after Unity with these things, right?
Well, I actually asked today the team what the lift on the re-rolling an item stat would be. I don't think that's too crazy to pull off.
Okay. Love it.
Yeah, I think we could get that one in like pretty soon. But Unity, true PvP matchmaking. But like while we're doing this stuff, like lower lift, like syncs and stuff like that, like we got Ken working on some cosmetic stuff. Like we're gonna try to get that in the game over the next month or two. I think we can do the re-rolling if the community doesn't hate that idea. We can do that much quicker as well.
Awesome. Two more questions for you. What's the limit you guys are looking at before opening up Gen 6 and beyond? Is there a limit you guys are looking at in terms of price point or daily active users?
Well, I think like Nat laid out, like with like the new model, basically after like Gen 6 would get rotated to like just a flat generation below it, and then the cost to recruit would go up, so that there would only be demand if like there's a lot of demand for new raiders and the floor price goes above that. But I also think that we need more growth to like want to go past 120K.
Yeah.
There's a very short list of projects that have 120K or more NFTs and still exist. And I don't want to be joining the other side of that list. So we really need player growth before we're talking about like
opening it back up.
250,000 raiders in the economy. That will give me a fucking heart attack. I'm trying to figure out how to make the math work on that one.
Yeah. Last question for you. The Endless Dungeon Contest. I think I've heard that you need a leaderboard before that actually, gets finalized. Yep. Any thoughts on when that may finally become to pass?
Yeah, so that will definitely come like after Unity. So once we get Unity out, then we can start working on stuff like that. Actually, we were thinking that potentially, because we have Peter the Rock on the team now, he could potentially create, I was thinking about this yesterday, he could potentially create a leaderboard dashboard just with like the database stuff as like a short-term stopgap. And then if we did that, then we could potentially get it out much sooner. But that's very much on the list. We already have like the mobs like reserved away to do that. We are going to honor our promise on that one, I promise.
Love it. All right. Any final questions from the table? Merrick, Malfurion, quick question. Any thoughts?
One, dude. I had one, dude, but I was like, oh, I'll ask it later. Dude. It's gone. It's gone. I can't find it. I can't find it.
Got it.
Okay. I will.
And another thing is crafting.
Oh, crafting. Yes.
Yeah.
That's going to be dope. All right.
Auction house piece.
It's going to be great.
Oh, yeah. Auction house win. Auction house win. Auction house win. That's not my question, but auction house win, fishing win. Spam that chat. Spam it.
Too bad Unity doesn't just have like an auction house integration. No, you could just like buy it for $10,000. I wish that we could trade money for things to happen instantly. I would take that deal a lot.
Awesome, dude. Good stuff, though. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah,
I love this calendar. Langley, this is awesome.
Yeah, I really appreciate all of you, and I think like we'll probably rotate a lot of the guests back on. Langley's in charge of all of that, but like you guys are very smart and big members of the community, so I'm sure you'll all hop on here again, and appreciate you all taking the time out of your day to talk about all of this, especially Bellay, who is trying to stay awake at 2:25 in the morning.
It's 3.
Inside, bro. I'm the inside.
He
He's
works
in, like,
from
sleep
home.
Deprivation mode.
He works from home, ladies and gentlemen. Don't worry.
Yeah, but he's got a 9 a.m. engineering sync call, and he's just gonna be like on there, just blankly staring.
All right, my guys.
My daily is going to be
Yeah.
All right. Absolutely pleasure having you guys here for this show. This has been a great episode. A lot of amazing topics touched. Can't wait till the next one, 2 weeks. If you are interested in being in the Council of Elders, please hit me up on Discord, guys. We'd love to bring as many people as we can on to talk with the co-founder of Crypto Raiders. We've got to end it with a giveaway, though. I can't not do a giveaway, guys.
Let's go.
Let's do a quick giveaway. All right, I'm dropping 1,500 Aurum to someone. All right, 15. Unless Nick wants to double, I'm dropping 1,500. Nick, you want to make it 3,000?
Fuck it, why not?
Let's go. That's what I'm trying to do for you guys.
Go,
That's what I'm
dude.
trying to do. Let's go. All right, 3,000 Aurum raffle, ladies and gentlemen. You know the deal. Buy your tickets. You've got a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, because we're trying to wrap this up before 9:30, which is in 3 minutes.
Allez.
Yes.
I'm buying 1 ticket. Maybe it was worth it. Allez.
You could just do Ticket Max, guys. You could just do Ticket Max.
Spend those tickets. It's a ticket sync.
It's a ticket sync. Yeah, exactly.
Dude, also the merch shop is awesome.
I need only
wanna
1
say
ticket.
that.
Thank you.
It was a cool drop. I want to complete my tier set. I don't know if you saw my tweet, but
I love it, dude. And then
Where's
we got to get more swag in there, like mobs gear. We need to get hats.
Can I get a mouse pad? Mouse pad?
Totally.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
Tyrael set it all up, and it's like he got a good supplier, and
Did he?
it's like pretty easily integratable. So I think we can scale it up.
That's
He's a
awesome.
busy man, but more merch when.
have you guys thought about like incorporating the merch with like raiders? Like when I say raiders, I mean the community. Like having listing anything like either discounts or perks or this or that.
Yeah, I think we can definitely do something like that, or like giving away merch to people that like do certain things in the game. I think all of that's super doable.
All right.
Yeah,
30
and
seconds,
just
everyone.
having a raider. Okay, cool.
I want
Very
those
cool.
wings on the characters, man. Those are gonna be cool.
I know. Oh yeah. Well, that's a part of a leak that I can kind of share is that because as we add more items to the game, like the size of the raiders is like making Ken's job so limiting. So we're like looking at I think we're like 32 by 32, but we're looking at like expanding to like 48 by 48.
Yes.
Yeah. and
Better
it's-
pixel art.
Yeah, exactly. So it gives us it gives Ken way more of a canvas to work with. So then because he basically said with our current models, boots would be 2.5 pixels. There's not much you can do there. So
You can't see a helmet because your sword's covering your face.
Exactly, literally. So we're looking at going to 48, or maybe one more tranche up to 64. We don't want to take it to the super high fidelity pixel art. You know what I mean? We still want that nostalgic feel, but there's a better dimension that we can be in that will like open up like wings and like super long swords and like shoulder pads that have like spikes coming out of them and like boots that are more than 2.5 pixels. So we're working on that as well.
I
Lots
love
of things.
pixel art so much. I can't wait to see that.
Good.
Awesome, dude.
Let's see who's winning this. 1, 2, 3. Kaoren.
Nice.
Kaoren. Let's go. Kylo. Is it Kylo Ren?
Kylo Ren.
Almost like
Kylo
Kylo Ren, but
Kylo
Ren.
Ren.
Yeah.
I like it. Congratulations, you got 3,000 Aurum coming your way. DM Crypto Raiders here on Twitch, and then Langley will get in touch with you, and we'll get it all to you, brother. All right, Nick, pleasure having you on here. Merrick, Malfurion, Bellay, love you guys. Thank you so much for being here.
Baby.
We all Tammy, love it. Hey, we'll see you all later, Crypto Raider. Love you guys.
Peace out.
Bye, guys. Good night.
Yes, dude. Thanks for staying on. Sweet dreams.
Bellay, what a